My name's Chelsea Foster. I know that I am a familiar face. I'm usually at the Grotto Community Center for Keystone Merge because I'm a founder of that organization. But today I'm going to be talking about my small business that, as I like to say, pays the bills. I volunteer at the Grotto. So this is the small business that I operate out of the Grotto. It is called Tetra Creative Studio. And a little bit of history about where we've come from. I was a sole prop from 2015 to 2020. And then in 2020, the company got to a size where I brought on a full-time partner and we became Tetra Design Co. And then this year, we have merged with Demo Productions. It's a video production company that has been established in the region since 2010. Sorry. And so this year we are now presenting as Tetra Creative Studio. That merger will be fully complete by the end of this year. So we are a collaborative, integrative creative agency in Central PA, and we work with clients starting from initial brand strategy to design, art direction, and implementation of projects. And we believe in creating beautiful, human-centric work that functions for our clients' goals and resonates with their audiences. So what do? We offer these 6 major segments in graphic design, videography, website design, photography, marketing services, and murals. A little bit of then what that translates into is we do full scope marketing for different companies on the retainer level. So this is one of our clients, Quigley 4x4. They convert vans into off-road rock crawlers, and we get to do everything from content creation to special events to their trade show booths, and kind of anything in between, as well as social media management, and kind of we also manage their influencers. So truly full scope marketing. Our business is also, we just recently branded our retail space called Moondance in Manistee, Michigan. We just did headshots and branding for Armstead Medical Group out of Sacramento, California. And then we also do e-commerce brands and content creation brands. So S5 Coffee is a new business out of Elizabethtown. Rise and Shine Speech is here locally. She does speech therapy through play. And then Patina Powerhouse is primarily a content creation channel. So that's kind of design side. From the video side, we offer commercial photography, full scope. We do aerial photography, commercial photography. You can see here we've done work for Hershey Gardens, New York Fashion Week for many years, work for a retreat out of Switzerland. And then one of kind of the fun parts of us getting out from behind our desks is we also do murals. This is kind of an extension of, as a child, my parents let me have one wall in my room. I could do whatever I wanted to, and it turned into this as an adult. To kind of wrap up those services, we offer marketing services that focus on SEO, pay-per-click advertising, but also we like to pride ourselves on taking a look at the data of the creative work that we're doing, saying hey, how should we tweak this to better serve the client that you're trying to reach? So that's Tetra in a nutshell. And in the last year, as we have gone through this merger, we have had this one challenge creep up a few times as we're going after bigger RFPs and proposals. And we have heard the feedback from essentially our dream clients say, we would hire you if Tetra was just a little bit bigger. And so our question is, what does this statement mean coming from a client and their perception of Tetra, the work that we've done and the work that we can do? And of course, how do you grow without burning out current creative, before getting bigger jobs and hiring.
You have the you work alongside so many other creatives with the Grotto. I mean, I have an agency, and one thing I've been able to use over the years is the amazing subcontractors within our space. And I've been very transparent with our clients that we do that. And it's very much like, we scale based on your needs. We can bring the right person to the table, and our clients, large clients, have had no issue with that as long as you're transparent. There are agencies all over the world who are doing that. So I don't know, have you tried that at all?
Yeah. So there's a couple particular, and I feel like it also depends on the client. We've had 2 clients say, we get nervous when agencies work with contractors because we have had them be flaky in the past. And we're like, well, okay. But, like, that's how you kind of, right. And then kind of in like the other side of it, it has been, well, how do you control and dedicate their hours? And it's very much hey, we say like there's this many hours. Can you do it? Like, it's like a trust equation too, right? So it has felt unusual and hasn't been an issue up until this point. So I don't know if like creative is changing too, or like, I don't know. But I like the
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't run up against that, but it also maybe is how it's being framed. So it could be a little bit of massaging some of the messaging there.
Yeah.
And if you have, like that, just being super confident about the subcontractors that you're working with and who you trust, that might maybe shift that a little bit.
Okay.
But something to think about.
And to dovetail with what you just said kind of there at the very end, I mean, I recognize with kind of the merger that you're already undergoing, you're bringing, I guess, more specific talent, especially on the videography side, kind of in-house.
Yep.
But if there are specific subcontractors who have skill sets that are a little outside the purview of your like normal scope of work, I think framing like some of just this person brings this specific skill set, like in motion animation, or I don't know, I'm pulling that out of a hat, but like something that's like, speaking to their kind of specific skill set and making it seem like this subcontractor is kind of the rock star of this specific thing. Like that might be a way to kind of frame it in a way that it's not like, I can see the perception being the other way around of like, oh, well, you're sort of like, you have to then micromanage sort of like these other people. Whereas like if you flip the framework around, oh, this person, what they really bring to the table is this specific skill set, then it might have a more positive kind of spin to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I noticed that for an agency your size, you had a lot of geographic spread on your clients. How do you do that? How did that happen?
Yeah. So from 2017 until COVID, I taught hand lettering workshops up and down the East Coast. I was connecting with co-working spaces and cultural centers, teaching these workshops. And from that, we have had like long-term clients or clients that found me through essentially traveling and teaching classes.
Cool. And so then my thought is this, as a recovering agency owner, if I'm reading you right, you can do a lot of different things, but you're very much in the creative space. You may do some media buying, but that's not your thing.
Yeah.
One of the things I have found works with these whale clients before is, and it's entirely a psychological thing. If you tell them you've got a contractor, they're like, ooh. If you tell them that I have an alliance of agencies across these disciplines, and that's like the last slide in your deck that shows, here's our media buying partner, here's our analytics partner, whatever it is that are your gaps, that at least gives them a little bit more confidence than the freelance model.
Cool. Love that. Thank you.
So to piggyback off of what everyone's saying, and as somebody also recovering agency owner a bit, I do a little dabble here and there, but
we'll have a meeting after.
Yeah, group session. So my first agency was like the first thing that I ever did. 0 to 10 million ARR was a part of that process. So going from a corporate to where you were, the problem with that agency, which maybe I see in this just from a high level view, is we wanted to do everything, and that was our downfall. We wanted to do mobile apps. We wanted to do web applications. We wanted to do marketing. We wanted to do videography. We partnered with other companies. We did all the same stuff. And we realized that that wasn't what we want to do. It's something I didn't want to do. So when I went and created my own agency, I only did mobile apps. I would suggest finding something you're really good at, because that expertise, when you're going after those corporate customers, they're looking for certain expertises every single time. And they're not looking for a one size fits all solution. And then to piggyback off of that, go off your, like, everybody is faking it till they make it to an extent. So, I mean, focus on, if you want to go after bigger ones, focus on confidence, focus on what you are really good at, what you are good at.
Yeah.
And if it's a contractor issue, I mean, they're not worried if they're contractors. They're worried if they're maybe offshore, or if you don't have direct communication with them.
Yeah.
If they're local and in the office with you, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter the paperwork behind it. It matters if you can work with them. So focus on that. If you're seeing issues with it, it's more about the team. It's always about the team of the people working on a project with you.
Yeah.
And then my final thought is definitely, like, okay, I lost my train of thought, but
You're okay.
I would say you showed like an amazing slide of that first portfolio project that you had here, the very first one. Make every single one look like that.
Cool.
So that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and for like some clarity, there are 3 owners of Tetra. One owner was in CPG for over 10 years in data analytics, in like brand development. She was a partner brand for that company. Greg is another owner, and he has had Demo Productions since 2010. And then I've been doing, my primary focus is graphic design, web design on the front end, not coding, and the murals.
So my career background is actually in fashion.
Okay.
And so I've worked for a lot of brands where we're on the other side looking for someone to do a branding agency or agencies to handle different things for us. Yeah. And when we would sit down together and say like, oh, I wish this agency were bigger.
Yeah.
We were not talking about headcount.
Okay.
Or even capacity for the work. We were talking about, it's so cynical, but some big names to drop when we talk to leadership, like, hey, we want to bring in this agency and they did work for Supreme or something like that. You need one big name that you keep reaching for these whale accounts, because one is going to set it in motion for good. Because in the corporate environment, we're always looking to say like, oh, well, they did such and such for so-and-so. And then it's like, oh, them? Okay, great, hired.
Cool.
And you just need one of those under your belt. Yeah. So don't stop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. All the slides should look like this in your portfolio presentation.
No, and I mean, and that makes sense. The 3 of us, of all the things that we've had like a struggle with, is being like, at what level do we like do this? Not like name drop, but like, you know, it's not uncomfortable, but sometimes it's
uncomfortable.
So, you know, yeah, but it makes sense when you're like on the other side looking in for an agency. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it feels so gross, but that is what people want. And I remember even like years ago, like talking to a recruiter who was like, you're not hyping enough the brands that you've worked for, because then people will want to hire you right away. And I was like, that's embarrassing. Who would do that? But it turns out
it's
people
what you
want
do.
you to be embarrassing. Yeah.
I think that, you know, if you're looking for that one, who in the network, that'd be an interesting analysis with you. You've got a great network with 3 owners and all this experience. Someone in that network has somebody in one of those big brands. Yeah. Somewhere. So who's that one?
I'm going to go to this slide just for a moment. This is Eric Armstead from the 49ers wife. We grew up together, and we've had that moment where it was like, we've been childhood friends, but also now she has this very different life. And like and she also likes to see small businesses like succeed, right? I mean, she's got 500,000 followers on Instagram. And like, what does that look like for us to like translate that without it, because this is her medical practice. She's a psychiatrist. Her Instagram page is very much football, right? And like we've been talking about, like, what does it look like to also help her reform her view, because she is a doctor, licensed in California, doing this work. So
yeah, that's great. That's a great start, right? My thought was just, getting in that network and finding that one big one, and that could be the starting point. So,
do you subcontract for any other agencies?
Through any other agencies? So, video we do with Our York Media. We are currently working with Grit on a campaign with the Cultural Alliance of York County. So we are definitely like starting to work with other agencies. But right now it is within York County. So
that just may be a path to getting experience on a job for a major client that you can then grossly name drop, like, and
Love that.
brag like a man, and be able to anchor up.
Don't get mad at me if you are a software engineer, but do you know how many software engineers I've worked with who have done a project for Microsoft, and when you ask, they were a subcontractor of a subcontractor? But that's how it can work sometimes.
yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.